So good afternoon all. I'd like to call together the agenda for the annual meeting of the Board of Directors for Wardell Street Townhomes LLC. Madam Clerk, will you take the roll call?
President Louis Jordan.
I'm here.
Secretary Tick Sigerblom. Here. Treasurer Fred Herron.
Present.
Director Larry Blackman. Here. Director Marissa Brown.
Present.
Director Nancy Bruni.
Present.
Director Richard Churchio. Director Carrie Cox. Director Michael Disman. Here. Director William McCurdy. Present. Director Luciana Turner.
Present.
A quorum is present. This meeting has been properly noticed and we are in compliance with the Nevada Open Meeting Law.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the minutes? It was moved by Fred Herron. I'm sorry, I stepped back. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Director Brown. Is there a second? It's a second by Director Blackman. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposition? Motion carries. The next item on the agenda is public comment. Public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to the matters that are on the agenda. Is there any public comment? Please state your name.
There's no pledge of allegiance, no, yeah.
Isn't that how you're supposed to open a meeting? Is the
We're in compliance. If you
okay,
have a
and
question,
then the
please go.
Wardell, so the Wardell townhomes, wasn't they just built within the last 5 years? Or redone in the last 5 years?
So the intent of comment is for you to make comment.
Okay, well,
So
I
we'll-
think that they was done in the last 5 years. I know the last REACT score was like 80-something, and they had just been redone. And I'm just wondering why they're, so soon they're being remodeled again.
Thank you for your comment. Any other comments on items on the agenda? Hearing none, we'll move on to the first item, the approval of Wardell Townhomes LLC Resolution Number WST6 will be presented by Frank Stafford.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Frank Stafford, Director of Development Modernization. Background: the Southern Nevada Regional Housing Authority, through its nonprofit arm, Affordable Housing Programs, Inc., is preparing to submit an application under the Rental Assistance Demonstration Program to convert 20 public housing units at the Wardell Street Townhouse Development to RAD. This Resolution WST number 6 authorized the President or designee to execute the documents necessary to submit the RAD application. Converting these 20 public housing units to RAD would generate more funding for the property, as RAD rents are higher than public housing rents. Thus, it would generate more revenue for the property through operations. Although RAD rents are higher, this charge will not be a burden to the existing residents, as they will continue to pay based on 30% of their household income. Additionally, converting to RAD comes with the added benefit to the existing residents in that after living in a converted unit for 1 year and assuming they are in compliance with the lease, the resident becomes eligible for a mobility voucher, should one be available, thus providing the resident with the freedom to choose where they want to live and making their RAD unit available for another family. Action requested is the staff requests the board to approve resolution number WST6 authorizing the president and or designee to execute any and all documents necessary to submit the RAD application for the 20 public housing units at Wardell Street Townhouses. Any questions?
Move to approve as presented.
There's a motion to approve as presented by Fred Herron. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a second by Director Bruni. Is there any discussion? All in favor? Any opposition? Motion carries. Thank you. Is there any additional citizen participation on items that are not on the agenda?
Well, I just want to say that you said that the Section 8 voucher would be available, should one be available. I know last year, or 2 years ago when they had
Please state your name for the record.
Phyllis Carpenter, 5200 Alpine Place. 2 years ago when they had the lottery for the Section 8 vouchers, one of my friends received a voucher and she's now 8,000 on the list. So I'm just wondering, should one come available, 8 years down the road, is it going to become available? Or 1 year after they've been there, is it available? How many vouchers are actually available at that time when they come up for the 1 year review?
We can have someone explain the process to you after the meeting, ma'am. Any other public comment? Meeting is adjourned. I'd like to now call to order the agenda for the annual meeting of the Board of Directors for Wardell Street Townhomes Manager LLC. Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
President Louis Jordan,
Here.
Secretary Tick Sigerblom, Treasurer Fred Herron,
Present.
Director Larry Blackman, Director Marissa Brown,
Present.
Director Nancy Bruni,
Present.
Director Richard Churchio, Director Kerry Cox, Director Michael Disman, Director William McCurdy, Director Luciana Turner.
Present.
A quorum is present. This meeting has been properly noticed, and we are in compliance with the Nevada open meeting law.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Director Bruni. Is there a second? Second by Director Fred Herron. Is there any discussion? For the vote, all in favor? Any opposition? The agenda is approved. Is there any public comment on this item? Seeing none, we'll go on to the approval of the Wardell Street Townhouse Manager. Frank Stafford will present.
Frank Stafford, Director of Development Modernization. This is a similar resolution. It's for the Wardell Street Townhouse Manager LLC. It's resolution number WSTM-6. The SNRHA, through its nonprofit Affordable Housing Program, Inc., is preparing to submit an application on the RAD to convert 20 public housing units at the Wardell Street Townhouse Development to RAD. Resolution number WSTM-6 authorizes the President designee to execute all documents necessary for the RAD application. Converting these 20 public housing units would generate more funding for the property, as the RAD rents are higher than public housing rents, and it would generate more revenue for property operations. Although the RAD rents are higher, there will not be any burden on the existing residents, as they would still pay 30% of their household income. Additionally, converting the RAD with the added benefit to existing residents is that after living in the converted unit for 1 year and assuming they're in compliance with the lease, the resident is eligible for a mobility voucher should one be available, thus providing the resident with the freedom of choice where they want to live and making the RAD unit available for another family. Staff is requesting the board approve resolution number WSTM-6, authorizing the president and or designee to execute any and all documents necessary to submit a RAD application for 20 public housing units at Wardell Street Townhouses.
Motion to approve.
It's been motioned by Director Bruni. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Director Brown. Any discussion? Please call the vote.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion approved. Vote carries. Thank you. Any citizen participation on this item?
Phyllis Carpenter, 5200 Alpine Place. So to form the LLC, you still have SNRHA employees managing it. So how is that not double dipping? Just saying.
Any other public comment? Meeting's adjourned. There's one more. I'd like to now call to order the meeting of the Board of Directors of Affordable Housing Program, Inc., AHP. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
President Louis Jordan,
Here.
Secretary Tick Sigerblom,
Here.
Treasurer Fred Herron, Director Larry Blackman, Director Marissa Brown, Director Nancy Bruni,
Present.
Director Richard Churchio, Director Kerry Cox, Director Michael Disman, Director William McCurdy, Director Luciana Turner. A quorum is present. This meeting has been properly noticed, and we are in compliance with the Nevada open meeting law.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve.
A motion to approve by Director Brown. Is there a second? Second by Director Disman. All in favor? Aye. Okay. Okay, very good. Okay, any opposed? The agenda carries. Okay. Is there any public comment on this item?
Phyllis Carpenter, 5200 Alpine Place. I don't mean to be a pain in the butt, but the bylaws for the Affordable Housing Program, Inc., say that it's supposed to be run by the residents for the residents. So I don't know how this board is even formed.
Is there any other public comment? Hearing none. First item on the agenda is approval of AHP Resolution Number AHP 39.
Frank Stafford, Director of Development Modernization. Background, staff is requesting board approval of Affordable Housing Program, Inc., Resolution Number AHP-39, which authorizes the President and or designee to execute any and all documents and to take any necessary deemed action or desirable to submit an application under the RAD program to convert 20 public housing units at the Wardell Street Townhouses development to RAD. Action request is the President requests the board approve Resolution Number AHP-39, authorizing the President and or designee to execute any and all documents necessary to submit an application to convert 20 public housing units at the Wardell Street Townhouse development to RAD.
Motion to approve Resolution AHP-39.
It's been moved by Director Bruni. Is there a second?
I'll second it, but also I had a question. So are we approving 60 total at the Wardell?
No, it's 20. It's
This one, but I'm saying that the last two were 20, each was 22.
No, this,
No,
That's all.
no, they were all 20.
I
20
know.
public housing units.
But are these all the same 20, I guess?
Yes, sir, same 20
Okay,
units.
that's what I wanted to clarify.
and I just want to add for the board that the public housing funds that we receive for this property generates about $80,000 with the conversion to the RAD. We should bring about additional $60,000 to the property.
All right, thank you.
Right.
So there's a motion and second, I guess we can vote?
Okay, it's second by Director Sagerblum. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Vote carries. Any citizen participation? This meeting is adjourned. Thank you. And Mr. Chair, I turn it over to you.
All right. First off, Ms. Carpenter, I want to congratulate you on your hair. I think it looks very nice. Thank you. All right, I'll call the meeting to order and say the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yes, sir. That's okay. You go.
All right, Madam Secretary, would you do the roll call?
Chairperson Tick Sigerblum,
Here.
Vice Chairperson Nancy Bruni,
Present.
Commissioner Larry Blackman, Commissioner Marissa Brown, Commissioner Richard Churchio, Commissioner Carrie Cox, Commissioner Michael Disman, Commissioner William McCurdy, Commissioner Luciana Turner. A quorum is present. This meeting has been properly noticed, and we are in compliance with the Nevada Open Meeting Law.
All right, this is the time for the first period of public comment. You can speak to, at this time, on any item on the agenda. Please state the item you were speaking about, and you have, do we do 3 minutes or 2 minutes? 3? Okay, you have 3 minutes. Anyone wishing to speak on an item on the agenda? Seeing no one, we'll close the period of public comment and move on. Next will be the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion for the agenda? Oh, I'm sorry, approval of the minutes. Skip.
Motion to approve the minutes.
All right, there's a motion to approve the minutes. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That motion carries. Next item is approval of the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda.
All right, there's a motion and a second. All in favor of approving the agenda?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Nope. Nope, no, I don't oppose it. All right, it's unanimous. Motion carries. Thank you. That's what McCurdy normally does. He always books me and says, do this, do this. So that's your role. All right. We'll move on to section 2, business items. This is time for the executive director's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So good afternoon. I have a number of things I wanted to cover. I wanted to first of all start off by having a couple of our partners come up and say a few things. Tim Veenstra from Nevada Hand and Phyllis Garcia from Ovations Realty. I think they were going to make some comments or. And whoever else with the staff who's going to come up and speak with them. See you, LaToya? All right, thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm LaToya Lewis, the landlord liaison at the Housing Authority, and we invited a couple of our landlord advisory members to come up and say a few things. We first have Phyllis Garcia, who always goes above and beyond for our elderly and our disabled in the community. Come on up, Phyllis.
And Phyllis works with?
Phyllis works with Ovation.
Perfect.
Thank you so much for letting me go first.
Good afternoon.
Good
Thank you.
afternoon. So for those that don't know me, I do work for Ovation. I work on their affordable housing side. I oversee their compliance and all their tax credit and other affordable things. And one of the things I do want to say is I have worked with the Southern Nevada Regional Housing Authority even before it was a housing authority. I remember I was telling them when there were like 4 different ones. So it is such a pleasure to work with the group that is here now. They make it so easy. They're just so accessible. They kind of have the same goal. It's a great partnership for us, and we cannot thank them enough for that.
Can you tell us how many units you guys run for us?
I'm sorry. So Ovation is a local owner developer, and we actually have a little over 9,000 total units, and we have about 2,200 of those are affordable. Currently, they're 55 plus. However, we do have a couple of family affordable coming within the next couple of years. So
I know you're building something off of, I think it's off at Nellis, but I'm not sure if that's part under you or that's a different.
So that is actually us, but that's a little outside of my realm. That is the first, it's about 50 units, and it's a permanent supportive housing community that they're building. So we're building it, but we won't be operating it. It's kind of outside our expertise.
Yeah, but I think you are getting project-based vouchers for that.
We are, yes.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much. That's my district, and it's going to be great, really.
It's going to be fabulous. So anything we can do to help, let us know.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Yes.
Phyllis, thank you for coming and sharing the feedback. It's always good for us to hear that working with SNRHA has been a great partner. And I will say, LaToya, I totally concur. Phyllis has been an amazing partner and always goes above and beyond and responds when we give requests of her. So thank you so much. You're a treasure.
Oh, thank you guys. Thank you guys very much. Thank you.
And next we have the fabulous Tim.
Hey, good afternoon. Tim Veenstra from Nevada Hand. I'm Chief Operating Officer. Nevada Hand is Nevada's largest all-affordable developer and builder and property manager. We have about 5,000 units, all affordable in Southern Nevada. And we have 2 properties that we are in partnership with the Housing Authority on, so Rose Gardens Senior Apartments and Vera Johnson Manor B. Those were RAD conversions, and those were both are continuing to be very successful. Rose Gardens is, of course, a new construction, RAD conversion with tax credits, and then Vera Johnson was a renovation. We are also happy to report that Sunrise Ranch has closed on its financing. I think we're very, very close on signing our AHAP contract. So our AHAP is our project-based voucher, our agreement to enter a HAP contract for 33 of those 144 units, which will be targeted to youth aging out of foster care. So we're very excited about that, located in Henderson at Boulder and Broadbent across from the water park. And so that will start construction in a couple of weeks in March or so, and opening in 2026. We're really excited to have that. We have a whole bunch of other properties under construction also. Pearson Pines, which will be up by the Pearson Community Center at North Las Vegas, or Martin Luther King in North Las Vegas. So that's under construction. A new construction, which will have 30 project-based vouchers. We're also renovating the old Buena Vista Springs apartments across the nearby there. And returning the tenants who used to live there, returning them all back. So Commissioner McCurdy came out on our kickoff there. And so that will start returning those residents back in June. Construction is wrapping up there. And in the rehab building, but the new construction will have the project-based vouchers. So altogether, it'll be 118 new units. And we've got a new building over at Buffalo Cactus under construction, and Southern Pines is 240 units of family housing, and of course, both of those have about 8 project-based vouchers in those as well. So we're really excited with the partnership and seeing the Housing Authority being an important part of our financing and making sure we get, of course, affordable housing is terrific, right? We're all believers. Everyone here in the room is a believer in affordable housing. What Nevada Hand typically builds is affordable for people who can pay $1,000 or $900 or $800. That's the standard of what we build. With a voucher that, of course, brings that affordability down to 30% of your income. And so that voucher, about 17% of our tenants, of our 5,000 tenants, have a voucher. So we're really proud to be one of the largest landlords, if not the largest landlord in the program. The voucher, of course, makes it affordable to anybody, right? So even the senior or family on $1,000 of fixed income or $500 of SSI, rents of $1,500 and $1,700 or $2,300 for a 3-bedroom that you need for your 4 kids is impossible. It's out of reach, right? So we're thrilled to have the vouchers. We're excited to see more VASH vouchers on the way, and we have several buildings that really are specialties in the VASH vouchers, and we like working with that population as well. I've been happy to be part of the Landlord Advisory Committee here, helping just give input and listen to the staff about the progress that has been made. We are big believers in using technology. The work is complicated, complex, specialized, so using technology to streamline processes is important, so we can now log on to our landlord portal. We can see the status of the payments. We can see the status of all the tenants, the recertifications. We can submit our rent increases. Our annual rent increases used to be fill out the form and submit an email process, and now you submit it all through the portal. So that helps track things a lot easier. It's easier for our staff to fill out those forms. And it's all computerized. We're looking forward, of course, to the online RAFTA, which is the new tenants process, the request for tenancy addendum, when people move in for the first time or move around. And so we know that's coming. And the inspection teams, we're excited to be able to see virtual inspections and just using technology and being more efficient is really important for landlords. Besides, of course, your payment standards at the Housing Authority are impressive, and I always say do not bury the lead, and I kind of did here, but your lead of your payment standards at the Housing Authority are attractive to landlords across the valley, and keep making sure people know that you are paying 110 or 105 this year of the FMR, fair market rent standard. You're paying 105% of that, and so that is attracting or should attract landlords into the program. Of course, we're happy to have voucher holders in our buildings because we feel like that's serving the purpose of what the programs were intended. So we just thank you for the partnership, and we look forward to the great future of what's ahead for the voucher program. Sorry if I talked too long, but I'm excited about
Tim,
what's going
Can
on.
you speak to the photo that's up there before you go? Yeah.
Yes, so at Rose Gardens, we had 100 Black Men of Las Vegas distributed Thanksgiving meals at Rose Gardens there. Yeah, so they did that there, and 4 or 5 of other properties. So prepared meals from the Culinary Academy and individual Thanksgiving meals. So we were thrilled to have that. Again, Rose Gardens is a really successful RAD transformation, and we're looking forward to more properties like that with the Housing Authority and the transformation that continues.
Thank you.
expressing my ignorance, what's a VASH?
VASH is the VA, so Veterans Affairs Supportive Housing. And so those are administered by the Housing Authority, but they come, so it's only for veterans that need assistance in their housing and have some special needs, but they come with a case manager from the VA. And so the veteran pays 30% of their income. The Housing Authority pays the landlord the difference between that and the contract rent. But they're essentially housing choice vouchers for veterans.
And is that part of our 12,000?
It is. In fact, we just got some new ones, didn't we? We just got a new 99 recently.
Great.
Very
Which is
good.
great. 99 more VASH is great.
Okay, so go out and build some more.
Yes, we will. We're building, and we've got several more. We actually have one, we hope to start soon. Our Ogden Pines building was an old hotel across from Stewart, like at Ogden and Maryland, so right around here. I don't know if I'm pointing the right direction, but and that was an old hotel. We had to tear it down because it was just functionally obsolete. But we will be starting construction there for a new 50-unit building with no age restrictions. So it'll be studios 1s and 2s, but not senior. It's next to some senior buildings, but we'll have any age group can live there. So sort of workforce housing in a 3-story building. So we're excited about that.
Thank you. Yes.
Tim, thank you, and thank you for your partnership. You've been a great partner to SNRHA. I wanted to follow up, I think, on the Sunrise. Is that the one for youth transitioning out of foster care?
Yes.
So how many units, and then I know for some of your properties you bring in partners, so are you working with Olive Crest at all on that particular project?
Yeah, we have talked with Olive Crest about that. We are working, so that will be 144 units. Up to 60 will have a preference for youth aging out of foster care. So it'll actually be youth in any prior status of foster care participation. So they don't have to be actually right in foster care or right moving out, but if they are, so 18 to 24, and if they've ever had any prior involvement. So we'll be working with the Housing Authority to open up a site-based waiting list for those vouchers. We have a partnership agreement with Clark County Social Services, their Step Up program, and so we will be partnering with the county as the service provider who is already working with this foster youth population as they're aging out. And then we'll be working with the social service providers to make sure any of their youth that might want to live there get on the list, and we'll have a multi-tiered approach. So we'll have a site-based waiting list. We'll also work with the Housing Authority for any youth that may be aging out of the FYI vouchers, so the foster youth to independent vouchers that are already here, but those are time-limited vouchers. So if we can get them into permanent housing at Sunrise Ranch, that could be an option. And then any other referrals from Clark County Step Up program that they want to refer into those 33 units. So we've worked with the Housing Authority on those. The staff here have been great, big supporters of that, helping serve that population. So we just salute you all for being a partner and helping solve that population that has been so underserved for so long.
And I'm going to plant a seed. I shared this with Director Jordan this morning. If you watched the State of the State yesterday, Governor Lombardo said he was committing $1 billion to housing and was really looking for partnerships and innovations. So I would love to figure out how all of the housing folks here in Southern Nevada meet with him quickly to start giving him ideas, because I think we've got some great models. It's just scaling them and getting some additional funding.
100%. I know a lot of the Housing Authority's projects under construction that Frank is doing right now are Home Means Nevada from the $500 million from the COVID era money. And so we're looking to this as kind of Home Means Nevada version 2 or 2.0, maybe a little more than $500 million out of that $1 billion commitment. We're all hoping maybe more like 700 going to multifamily apartments, but we'll see, right? So
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
You know, I just wanted to mention, Madam Vice Chair, we're already scheduling something. We were on the phone with our lobbyists this morning, and so we're scheduling something with the governor soon to talk about some of our ideas. On the notion of the work that comes before we actually break ground and things of that nature, this past December was probably one of the busiest months that the housing authority's had in a long time as it relates to the finance side. I wanted Frank to come up and just talk about the closings that we've done and the financial impact it has on the agency. So, Frank, you want to just give a brief update on the number of closings we've done, what we have coming up, and the types of
Good
dollars
afternoon.
it'll bring in?
Frank Stafford again. We received awards for 5 home East Nevada grants from the state. So December 30th, we had our first 2 closings. One was the Duncan and Edwards development, which is going to be 80 units out near Rancho in Gowan. That particular development is with the Michaels organization, and we put 30 Faircloth units and 30 PBV units, and then we have 20 additional units, which will not have the same AMI, so those can be for higher income that'll be on that development. And I just want to stress the Faircloth because the previous resolutions that I was speaking about on Wardell, those public housing units came from Faircloth. So with these particular deals, we're using more public housing. It's like a bank of units that HUD left for us where we could develop new public housing units. But we're going to take our Faircloth public housing units in these deals, and then we're going to immediately convert them over to RAD, project-based vouchers. So these developments will have a higher source of income coming in from day one. So like I said, we had Duncan and Edwards closed on December 30th. We also closed the development at 28th and Sunrise. These are both family developments. 28th and Sunrise has 121 units. It's located over near Easton and Stewart, right across the street from Roy Martin by our Juan Garcia and Ernie Cragen developments. Those 2 projects will be breaking ground on January 20th, which happens to be Monday. I reminded them that was Dr. King's holiday, but they said they're ready to get to work, and I'm not going to stop them, so those will be moving forward. December 31st, we closed on Janice Brooks Bay, which is located near Nellis and Bonanza. It's an affordable housing unit development that the Housing Authority has owned on our affordable side. That will be a mixed finance development, but we will also be overlaying 52 project-based vouchers onto that property as well. All 100 of the units will be LIHTC tax credit units, and we're looking to start construction on that one February 3rd. Next week, we should be closing on our Marion Bennett development. That one would be 59 units. It would be a senior preference facility. Once again, we did do the same thing where we have the 29 Faircloth units, 30 project-based vouchers. But once we close the units for occupancy, they'll all be under the project-based voucher system. And then finally, we're still working on our Senator Joe Neal, which is going to be the largest development that we have. That one's scheduled to close March now, 25. We got HUD working with us and everything, so we think we're going to be able to make that date. These 5 projects, and I should have the number in my head, but okay. Thanks. How does that commercial go? Get in there, Fred.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Fred Herron, Chief Administrative Officer. Out of the 3 deals that we closed, we received about $7 million worth of pre-development fees as well as development fees. Over the next 5 years, after all of our closings, which include Bennett, Rose Garden, as well as Mama Manor, the CNI project, which is generating about $24 million over the next 6-7 years in developer fees. Yep. Pardon?
Excuse me,
Generate.
I'm
We're going
sorry.
to receive, yes.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Total development cost is around a little under $150 million for the CNI. Yep.
Thank you. So, Commissioners, with so many closings and so many groundbreakings, we're going to get with you all in your calendars to see if we can have 1 or 2 ceremonious, groundbreaking media events, because clearly, it'll be somewhat daunting to try and have people show up at each one. So those are just exciting things that are going on.
So I have a couple questions.
Yes,
So
sir.
first off, I think everyone should have a groundbreaking ceremony. That's cut a ribbon. That's very important for us and show the community what we're doing. So don't be bashful about that.
Okay,
And
good.
I apologize for, again, being ignorant, but what's a Faircloth voucher? Or a Faircloth?
I had the same question.
Very good, yes.
Faircloth it's the last name of a senator that, I want to say roughly about 20 years ago, they set a cap on public housing units. Whatever number you had at that particular year, then you can exceed that number of your public housing units going forward. So the Southern Nevada Regional Housing Authority, actually at that time, we were the Las Vegas Housing Authority, and I think could be some Faircloth from Clark County as well. But we had roughly about 900 units that we had demolished, and HUD gave us the opportunity that we could come back and rebuild those as public housing units. But it's kind of hard, it's difficult building public housing units because you can't put any debt on them. So it basically means that you got to be flush with cash to make these projects work. So HUD came up with this program that was originally called Faircloth to RAD, and now it's called Restore Rebuild. We still have about 600 units in our bank. So for this particular round, we used 150 of those Faircloth units that we're going to use to build public housing units. But since we're doing it as a mixed finance and we're converting it to RAD, then we can go and get tax credits and put all other types of debt on it to get those units out on the market. So basically, it's just almost like a job bank or housing bank of units we have that we can continue to build affordable housing.
So are you saying that we've destroyed or knocked down 600 units that we have ability to build back up? Is that, what's the 600 represent?
Those were developments that we had back, like I say, it was around the late 90s, 2000s, different developments that we demolished. So we had I think.
So that's what you're saying, so you demolished them and then they're in a bank?
Yes.
So we can go ahead and build 600 new ones?
We can build back, yes.
Okay. And then when you build them, then you immediately convert them to RAD and move on?
Correct.
Does that make sense?
And what the RAD component does, that's what allows us to go out and apply for tax credits and get other, public-private money to make the projects work.
And do you do all that yourself, or are there consultants or things that we figure out how to bring in this outside money?
Yeah, we work with a team of consultants. I mean, you've heard us mention EJP, Praxis, Reno, Cavanaugh. That team has been working with us on just about all of these deals. But we do have to go out and do, RFPs every so many years to make sure it's competitive and give other entities a chance to apply.
Do you build them back at the same location, or can you take them anywhere you want to take them?
Most of the ones that we've been doing, they're in different locations. Those are the land swaps, like the Duncan and Edwards. That was originally a development that we had over off of 28 near Stewart, right where Roy Martin Middle School is at. So we did a land swap with Clark County School District and acquired that land. So if we have the property on that same dirt, we can build it there. But if we make a land swap with another public entity, private entity, or what have you, then we can build them wherever. Or we can acquire land somewhere and we can use them on that land as well.
Question. Is there any more land? We have ability to tap into the land bank, am I correct? Is there more land that we have not developed and we're considering putting more units on?
We still, the Housing Authority land themselves, we still probably have, I want to say, about 12 acres, but then we got another 25 acres of BLM land. So we still have close to roughly 35, 37 acres of land to develop.
Where is the BLM land?
Those are out in the southwest. I want to say is that I think like Blue Diamond, going back to Durango area, but they're all out in the southwest.
Are we looking to develop in that area because it is very busy? Is that coming online soon?
I mean, we don't have any firm plans, but it's something we have looked at.
A part of our strategic outlook over the next couple of years is to ask ourselves, we spent a lot of time on preservation, and now we're looking at production, acquisition, and things of that nature. And we'll work with the board to, bring recommendations and just build a strategy, and as you talk about those places, I would like to see us look at not only housing, but commercial, mixed use. In fact, it was recently noted that there's going to be a BLM auction, and the team and I are already working to see, what's the best strategy. Do we bid against, other entities, or do we work with, the county, work with the jurisdictions to see how we can go in and come up with a process that will result in us getting some of that land. Yeah, so that's a part of the strategy.
And I would just like to add also, Kathy has been really looking into those type of deals as well.
Yeah, Fred, could you, Frank, please, RAD conversion seems to be the answer for a lot of the issues. Is there a cap on how many times we can use RAD? Is that something that we can do with pretty much everything in terms of converting public housing to the RAD projects?
Yes, we did our first RAD back in 2014, and at that time, the cap was about 60,000 units nationwide. And then the cap increased probably double that amount. But from what we've been saying, it's steady growing. We have other developments that if we wanted to, we could probably apply. So I don't know what the exact number is, but I know it's increased over the years.
And Commissioner, to that end, HUD talks to us a lot about something called repositioning. And what repositioning means is get out of the public housing realm. And the reason that HUD drives that is that nationwide, there's about 70 or 80 billion dollars of deferred maintenance in the capital side of fixed public housing. And what HUD is saying is that they can't give us enough capital money, us as a collective, all housing authorities. So, as Frank mentioned, there was a cap at one time, but in HUD's eyes, the sooner the better we can just get out of the public housing, and I want to be very clear, the public housing funding process and get over on a voucher process. It gives us an opportunity to put debt on the project, and also we can leverage that way. So,
Thank you so much.
The cap is 450,000.
Through the chair again, we had an opportunity just a couple of weeks ago, some of the commissioners and myself traveled to Miami for a convention, and it seemed that RAD is so prevalent across the country anymore. And I think every session that we attended, it was about HUD getting out of public housing.
yes.
It was structuring and doing those things that RAD could convert and move forward in terms of, not building the large entities anymore, but actually building into communities and making viable opportunities for those people as well. So I'm just happy that we're doing it. The other thing is, as I spoke to the director, we want to, especially myself, I want to become more familiar with what can be done with conversion so that we can move forward in terms of the housing issues, because you see them everywhere. I mean, every morning when I read the newspaper, it's housing issues everywhere. And Mr. Director, I saw your comments yesterday as well with from the governor and his, let's just say his lofty ideal about we'll see, because I'm one of those, you have to show me before we start talking about, getting these things done. But anyway, I won't digress. I'll just say that thank you so much for the information.
Thank you. Very good. Let's have a few more things, Mr. Chair. Wanted to, Commissioner Blackman touched on it. We had 4 of our commissioners went down to Miami for FADA, Public Housing Association of Directors Public Housing Directors Association has an annual commissioner training. And in addition to the items like the role of the commissioner, responsibilities, so on and so forth, there was some business conversation about RAD and, and just the future of affordable housing. And just wanted to make note, and thank you, the commissioners who had a chance to go down. We spent 3 cold days in Miami. And but I hopefully, and I invite you to, if you have comments on it, I guess I invite you to speak to it.
Did you go to Mar-a-Lago too?
We weren't invited.
I went down to Miami for the conference, and I found the training to be very useful. informative. We did learn some things about RAD and the conversions with that. We learned, additional information about what we need to do in our roles as commissioners. And I will say that I appreciate being able to take the opportunity to go down and attend that, because even though I've been here 2 years, I felt like there were still some things that I needed some further understanding, even as far as what we have on our agendas and how to read our budgets and where the numbers come from and how to read that. And so I got that fulfilled while I was down there. So I appreciate being able to go down.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good.
Again, I also thank you and appreciate the opportunity to learn as much as I can about the housing industry. I really appreciate the people that make this train run. And I also wanted to say that without those trainings, we're not as effective as we really should be. And so I know the training will continue, especially for the staff, because with things changing, it's always something has to change, from the policies. And I appreciate some of the financial information that we have been disclosed. And I appreciate that because it let us know that we are in compliance. Can we improve? Absolutely. There is not an entity that is perfect. However, I do appreciate the work that has gone forth that I've seen has done a tremendous change. And I've been working with the Housing Authority over 25 years, whether as a resident, but for the past 4 years as a commissioner. And the opportunities that we can bring by giving someone a home or teaching them how to keep it is more or less what it is, so that we can continue to generate the money that we receive. You mentioned a big number to me, and I'm like, oh, so we get to earn that money and be able to build more housing. That's what the whole thing about RAD is. Once they give us the money to do these things, we can leverage that. And so I appreciate the business sense, the leadership, and the teamwork that we have going on here at the Southern Nevada Regional Housing Authority. Thank you.
Thank you.
I was just going to add that, yes, absolutely appreciated the opportunity to go. One of the things several things that you find out is that there's so many different things going on across the country that we could utilize here to help affordable housing. One of the things is, what is affordable housing? I mean, what is affordable housing for those people that are on the street? You understand that some people need more help than others. Some are going to be with us forever, but you understand that the opportunities, I'm so pleased with the operation that we have here under Mr. Jordan and the team. They seem to be just Johnny on the spot for they're applying for everything. You're not getting everything, but you sure are asking. And my grandfather used to always say, a closed mouth does not get fed. And so we understand it. And just the dynamic in place in terms of the training that we get when we go to these conferences is just amazing. So thank you so much for allowing us to continue to grow in that effort. And we then will bring the information, hopefully utilize it in a manner in which will help the overall community so that we will be a better place. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Also wanted to mention, yesterday was a pretty eventful day for us. We had the entitlements for the first phase of Marble Manor were approved by City Council, and we appreciate that, Vice Chair Bruni, you and your team. We also had the opportunity to host and the chair and vice chair were part of this, actually hosted. Our federal delegation, we brought in, folks from the congressional office and senatorial offices, really just to talk, strategy, and we're going to, Mr. Chair, we're going to continue to do this, have opportunities to just sit down and talk about, what's going on, particularly as we look at this new administration. Following up with that call, I actually sent an email to DC saying that we're very much interested in being a part of, normally when new administrations come in, there are these things called listening tours. And I've opened us up to have a listening tour. And as I mentioned earlier, we're trying to get on the governor's calendar from a state standpoint to update him on what we've done with the Homies Nevada dollars. And since we've spent them so judiciously, we feel that we've earned the right for more. As mentioned with the the approval of the entitlements for Marble Manor, I also like to announce that we received $658,000 in tenant protection vouchers. So if we go back to the $50 million we received for the Choice Neighborhood Initiative, it needs to be known that that did not come with vouchers. We asked for them, and they says, well, we're not sure. They being HUD said, we're not really sure if we can give them to you, but we said if we couldn't get them, we would be prepared to use our own. That $658,000 equates to a little less than 50 vouchers of our own vouchers now that we can hold on to ourselves. Additionally, under the auspices of money, our very, very coveted family self-sufficiency program, we were renewed for that program. We received $1,048,000 for that, and we're really excited just about the opportunity to continue to support people in moving them from where they are to where they like to be. Wanted to have someone from Resident Services come up and just update us. There was a really, really wonderful thing that happened over the holiday with the Walker Furniture donation. And who's going to speak to that? Paula? Okay. All right.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I have one of our new service coordinators. Her name is Tina Dotson-Hogan. She has been on the job for less than 90 days, and she just took advantage of a really great opportunity for one of her families at Landsman Gardens. As you guys know, that's one of our properties that has very large families, and there was a great need. So I'm going to just let her tell you about it. She put together this short PowerPoint, and just briefly, if you could step up, Tina, and then just tell them about you were able to help your family.
Hi, my name is Tina Dotson-Hogan. As Ms. Paula just mentioned, I just started with the Housing Authority in October of 2024. I met Ms. Marin. She came into the office. She had a need. She has 4 children. They didn't have anything in their home, and she was reaching out, to see if we could help her just find anything, even if it was an inflatable mattress. I reached out to a lot of organizations, a lot of charitable organizations, and due to the great need for beds and furniture, the inventory was it was non-existent. So I took it upon myself to actually apply for the Home for the Holidays campaign for Ms. Marin, just hoping that there would be a bright shine a light, our Christmas miracle, where we could help her and her family. I was past the deadline, so I didn't get a phone call from Michelle at Walker Furniture until January the 2nd. And she called me and she said that she read the letter that I emailed in regards to Ms. Marin and her family, and they were so touched by her situation that they wanted to reach out, and they wanted to provide her children with beds, complete with the headboards, the frames. They also gave them a 5-piece dinette set. Yeah, we're on there we are. So the breads were brand new, the dinette set, the coffee table, and the end tables. And actually last week, I received another call from Michelle, and she did state that she would like for us as a team to nominate another family for the 2025 campaign. So we're hoping that we can keep this going and become an annual thing, and every year we can nominate a family to the Walker Home for the Holidays so that we can give them an entire house full of furniture. I think they gave her some gift cards. They also gave her gift cards. They gave her gift cards, one for $500, and then one for $100 to Star Nursery so that she can purchase a Christmas tree for next year, for this 2025.
That's outstanding. Thank you very much, and welcome to our team. Really appreciate having you.
So on that, we talked about this, but trying to honor Walker Furniture, or I don't know if we have certificates where we can, make them some kind of reward, or have them come in another meeting, maybe just tell them how appreciative we are.
We did try.
Okay, but I'm saying maybe, do we have certificates or something that we could prepare and
Yes,
have
we
somebody
can.
take over to them?
And be it they show up or not, yes, sir, we can make it available from, the commission and ourselves.
You copy what the city does. They have this massive thing that's all gold. It looks like million.
Yeah, we can do that.
I wanted to make a comment. I just wanted to say thank you, because it's not too many people that go up and beyond the call of duty to do the work you do. And I'm always trying to encourage the staff, because without people, they can't change their life without your help. So I thank you so much.
Thank you. Very good. You know, there's never, too much communications and never too less of opportunities for us to talk about what we do. I'll have the honor next, on the 21st, of doing a SNRHA update to the Clark County Board of Commissioners, and I welcome the opportunity to do that at all of the jurisdictions. I wanted to mention that we're having our King Day Parade. SNRHA is going to participate in the King Day Parade on Monday. We've let commissioners know you're more than welcome to join us, and it's a wonderful opportunity. The 20th is known as a day of service, and I'm very proud. During their off time, we have a ton of employees who show up 5 o'clock, 6 in the morning. You all don't have to come that early, but show up in the morning. We put a float together. We just fellowship, and then we go out in the community. And so I'm sure that some of you may be a part of your other floats, but know that you're also a part of our representation as well. And then my last item, I was going to do this hoping that she was going to be on Zoom, but considering that Commissioner Turner's here, yesterday Commissioner Turner dropped off a number of things. We talk, we share about what what we do outside of here. Why don't we put up a couple of the certificates, and Commissioner, maybe you can speak to what they are.
Well, it is my pleasure and my great honor. I was nominated and selected to receive an honorary doctorate degree, and so I'm very, very proud of that and very humbled by it. I just feel like somebody caught me doing the right thing at the right time. I had no idea. It was a total surprise. So in December, I went to a very beautiful graduation, and I received a Lifetime Achievement Award. So for the voluntary service and things that I've done throughout my life.
Congratulations, Dr. Turner.
Thank you.
For those of us who can't see that, can you tell us who signed that Lifetime Achievement Award, and maybe read the caption for us?
Okay. It's with great recognition, AmeriCorps and the Office of the President of the United States honors Luciana Turner with the President Lifetime Achievement Award for a long-time commitment on building a stronger nation through volunteer service. President Joseph Biden.
Wow. Mr. Chairman, that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations, Dr. Turner. Now we have 2 doctors on our board. All right, the next item is the consent agenda. Does anyone have a motion on the consent agenda? There's a motion, second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor of the
Aye.
motion? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. All right, now is the executive director's recognition.
So since our last gathering, the following individuals have transitioned on. I'm going to read the names, and we can just have a moment of silence. Teratio Williams, Michael Major, Robert LeBlanc, Mary Severance, Glenn Funch, Tafolia Atugi, Shanice McKenzie, Janice Wafer Hunt, Essie Johnson, Brenda Deal, Dennis Gray, and Rhonda Williams. Thank you.
Thank you. And the next item says another executive director recognition. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, approve, now the motion is going to be, or not the motion, the next one's going to be approved to revise the SNRHA federal procurement policy.
Yes, item number 5. Johnny Shaw will present this.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Johnny Shaw, Procurement Manager. Mr. Chair, for the sake of time, would it be permissible for me to do an overview rather than reading the entire agenda item?
Please.
I'm recovering from an eye infection. It's still a little blurry.
Shorter the better.
So during the month of February of last year, HUD facilitated a total assessment of the procurement department. It lasted for about 6 months. They closed out the final report in October of last year. And they had some recommendations that they wanted to recommend to the federal procurement policy. Mr. Parker and myself reviewed all of the recommendations, and we made the recommended changes that they recommended from Dew & Associates. I won't go through all of the items that were changed, but there are about 7 sections in your book that shows all the changes that were made. And if you look at the policy itself in your book, it should show the highlighted versions of those changes. And so they weren't mandated by HUD, but they were recommended by HUD's consultants.
Johnny, how would you characterize the overall assessment of HUD or the vendor on our procurement process?
Repeat it one more time.
I said, how would you, when we look at the findings from the assessment, how would you grade or speak to, how did we do?
We did excellent.
Thank you.
We had no findings. We had no non-compliance with the federal regulations. They also recommended training when they first came on board in February. And after they came in and assessed the department and the agency, they said no training was necessary for the agency. And so we did really, really well. It was not an audit, but it was an assessment. Any questions?
Thank you, Johnny.
See no questions. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
All right. There's 2 motions to approve in 1 second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, next is going to be the, I'm sorry, number 9.
Number 9.
Okay, number 9, sorry. Oh, we have to, okay, so SNR 137.
Good afternoon, Frank Stafford, Development Modernization. The Executive Directors request the Board to approve Southern Nevada Regional Housing Authority Resolution SNRHA-137, which authorizes the Executive Director and his designee to execute any and all documents and take action deemed necessary or desirable to submit an application on the Rental Assistance Dispensation Program to convert 20 public housing units at Wardell Street townhouses to RAD. This conversion would generate more revenue for the property operation as RAD rents are generally higher than public housing rents, and it would not add an existing burden to the residents' rents as they would still pay 30% of their household income. Action requested, Executive Director requests the Board to approve resolution number SNRHA 137, authorize Executive Director and his designee any and all documents necessary or desirable to submit an application for the conversion of 20 public housing units at the Wardell Street townhouses to RAD.
Motion to approve resolution number SNRHA-137.
There's a motion and a second. Cast your vote.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. All right, so now the record retention. We're making all the staff work today.
Good afternoon, Ebony Bell, Compliance and Training Administrator. The agenda item I am requesting approval for the Housing Authority is approval of SNRHA's updated record retention policy. The background is the Southern Nevada Regional Housing Authority is a quasi-governmental entity. As such, it may align itself with the best practices for the city, state, and local government agencies. As a result, SNRHA has developed its record retention schedule from both the former City of Las Vegas Housing Authority and the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development records retention and disposal guidelines. Therefore, the action that is being requested is for approval of the updated record retention policy that aligns with SNR's current practices and HUD regulations.
Second?
There's a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Thank you.
That motion passes. All right, so, okay, all right, so we see the voucher lady, so must be about vouchers.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Rosa Elaine Garcia, Director of Housing Programs, voucher lady. We're asking for the approval for a significant amendment to our Housing Choice Voucher Administrative Plan. The background is HUD permits public housing agencies to establish additional categories of low-income families that may be determined eligible. The additional categories must be consistent with the PHA and consolidated plans for local governments within the PHA jurisdiction. SNRHA has not established any additional categories of eligible low-income families. We're asking for projects with low-income housing tax credits, the Southern Nevada Regional Housing Authority may designate a family as eligible at 60% of the area median income. This language is a testament to our commitment to the community. It is intended to accommodate at least the various redevelopment projects coming to fruition for SNRHA-owned projects. It also aims to prevent the displacement of existing families whose income may exceed as 50% of the AMI requirement.
Motion to approve the significant amendment to the Housing Choice Voucher Administration Plan.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Opposed? No one. Thank you so much. All right, does that complete our regular agenda? New business. Anyone have any new business? Oh, Ms. Turner.
Okay.
Now that you're a doctor, you want to talk.
Well, this is one of the things I know that the director will gladly speak to, but I wanted to make sure that, you know, that we keep a very positive light on the situation with Marble Manor. I wanted to know if you can help me with this information. Exactly how many families that out of the first phase have actually already secured a unit? And is that, what is the progress on the first phase? I know you have meetings with the residents that are there, but out of the ones that are actually going to be relocated, how many have secured a unit, and how many have probably started new things from the, I guess, the resources or the wraparound services that they're getting from Lutheran Services? How was that progress?
So, Mr. Chair, considering this is under new business, this is something that we'll get information on and report back out on. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes, correct. And I was just wondering, I was just sharing with Commissioner McCurdy, you basically presented that information yesterday to the city council, and so I don't know whether we can just talk offline or if it warrants just making the presentation that you shared with the city council at the next meeting.
Yes. We can do that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think, Mr. Chair, through you, I think that's going to be very important because the narrative is really getting out of the norm, but on par for what has been the experience of the community. So I think as much as we can get that out there, talking about, you know, our due diligence and making sure that we're over communicating to residents and all the work that's been done leading up to this point will be helpful, even if you're able to share the PowerPoint with us. And then as residents and community members come up, we'll be able to have that information available real time to speak to actually what's happening versus what someone's opinion of the process may be while they don't even live in the area.
Duly noted.
I'm sorry, I just wanted to add this as well. With that being said, if any one of those residents that are in that process, if they can even, maybe even speak to that, how they feel and what's going on with them, you know, because we want to understand how they're feeling in this moment and how they can also help maybe other people understand the process and be, you know, a little bit more relaxed about it.
You know, the vice chair made a very good point, and what I think we can try and do is get a hold of the meeting video from yesterday's city council, and you'll be very pleased. The parade, if you will, of residents who are in phase one, who came up to the microphone at City Hall yesterday, expressing their pleasure in the process. So we can make that available to you all.
Quick question. We learned at the conference that we attended in Miami that we could potentially ask for additional funding for utility assistance payments. If we can have somebody look into that and see if that's possible for the next budget that we have coming up for the future, and how we can get an increase for those who qualify.
Duly noted.
Thank you.
First, I have a couple of comments. Again, expressing my ignorance, would it be possible to have a presentation on vouchers, what each category, how many we have?
Absolutely.
Every time I learn about it, there's a different acronym for the type of voucher it is, and I'm not sure where they come from or how they're used, but if we could just have a presentation about all the vouchers and the different names and where they are, and that'd be very helpful for me.
Yes.
And secondly, I mentioned this to you, Mr. Jordan, but yesterday, I think, but I would like to at least have somebody reach out and see what it would take to have us upgrade our status up here, get new chairs, have monitors, so we don't have to look behind, turn around every time we want to look at the screen. Maybe even have, well, obviously have a new podium, and just upgrade the facilities here. I don't want to spend $1 million, but if somebody could reach out and see what it would cost, that'd be helpful for me.
We're already working on it. Yes, sir.
All right. See? See, you're a doctor, and now you're already in charge. And, you know, Ms. Bruni is also a doctor, so now we got 2 doctors up here, so we're really elevating our stature. All right, seeing nothing else, then we can close the, second public comment, yes. So, Ms. Carpenter, you can go first or last?
I'll go first.
Okay.
Okay, so, I just want to say
Please
how
state your
true.
name for the records.
Phyllis Carpenter, 5200 Alpine Place. I just want to say how I feel, how insensitive you truly are, especially with the remark about my haircut. Nobody says anything when you get your ears lowered in public comment or as to the public. That was just rude. Also, I want to know how many Section 3 workers are going to be employed at hand construction or hand, whatever they're called, because in the last time I worked for hand, they made us go through day labor. We should have gotten Davis-Bacon wages, and we didn't. We got $11 an hour, while they paid the labor service the rest of the money we should have earned. So per policy, I received a 30-day notice. And the 30-day notice, it said, what it referred to was either drug involvement or alcohol abuse when it comes to your neighbors. That is not what happened. There was 9 different lies that 9 different statements that was written down that the manager put in the 30-day. Out of those 9, only 3 of them made it to the formal hearing. But okay, so procedure is you get a warning first, then you get a 30-day. I didn't get no warning. I didn't even get a call to the office, anything. I received a 30-day. So I put in for my informal hearing. At the informal hearing, I asked for the evidence, the statements, whatever report she had that she had against me. She told me it would be $168 for me to pay for the evidence. So that day, I came down, I filed for a formal hearing. That was on the 12th. I believe on the 16th, I received the date back saying when my formal hearing was. And they're not following the grievance procedure, because per my lease, I signed 3 of them last year. Per my lease, it says the grievance procedure is that if you ask for a formal hearing, you get a sit down where you can question the people that wrote the statements against you, whatever. That didn't happen. So on the 16th, they sent me a thing saying it would be done over Teams. Well, a lot of people don't have internet. I didn't have the room on my phone to even download Teams, and I should have gotten what the grievance procedure in my lease said. So on the 26th of November, which was Thanksgiving Eve, I got an email saying that they would go ahead and do mine, in my formal hearing at the office here. I did not receive the 3 statements until I walked into the formal hearing. Out of those 9 statements that was brought up, there was 3 of them that she said that I had to reply to. I did reply to the 3. When I walked into the hearing, one of the statements was from Cynthia, who was a social worker at Sartini. I asked where she was. They went and got her out of her office. The security officer said that May, the manager, had called the security to be there 24/7 for me specifically. That's harassment. They did not get a picture of me trespassing on that job site. They then made me sign a last chance agreement, or I would have got a 5-day lockout. It's intimidation and retaliation, and I know I'm over my 3 minutes, but they're not even following their policy, and it's
Thank you, Ms.
obvious.
Carpenter. Thank you.
And I apologize, I didn't mean to, I meant it as a compliment to your hair, and I apologize for bringing that to your attention. All right, next one would be Loretta Burnett. Let's see. Walter Jones. Wadeen Patton. All right, that's all the cards. Anyone else want public comment? Seeing no one, we'll close the public comment, and we're adjourned. Thank you so much, everyone.